abahle kangaka abancane. Molweni nomngqusho nonomngqushwana. Nibahle kakhulu. Ndibulela abazali abakhuphe abantwana babo babenza babahle. Baphuma nabazali baza. To me, it shows you are taking your role as a parent very seriously. So thank you for being here. And I trust that you are going to gain a lot for being here today. Ndibulise ngokukhethekileyo umama notata apha ekhaya. Mama Mfundisi notata Mfundisi Mohammed. Ndisendivile ke kuthiwa Pastor T and Pastor K wonke umuntu. Nabana 5 bathi Pastor T, Pastor K, so kumnandi apha ekhaya. Ngibulisa kakhulu. I think ndiyafuna ukutsho uba mama notata, I've been following you from back in the days. Dala basindiswa. This is Assemblies of God. Phaa endlini thina ke la group indala ke yo 40 besandogqiba 40 last month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. That group yo 40 kabizuyazi nini ama 2000 sine DVDs thina. So ikhona i-DVDs ke phaa endlini ke enye yazo umfundisi kaMalibongwe, the late Mfundisi Malibongwe Gcwabo, where at the end of lo mvuselelo or concert babeyenza, then you were called to preach. I used to enjoy watching that. This is a powerful word. Even today I still remember what we were talking about. We were talking about Aga's baby and how Aga suffered in the desert with a dehydrated and dying baby. But he has empty on the cross. So I remember that. And Mrs. K. Wayakona Pakele Frank preaching hey, I'm from Yes, so we bless the Lord. Now, Mrs. K, you may not remember the other time we had a women's conference at Jeffreys Bay, organized by Downtown Christian Center. They invite us there. So, very powerful words you shared there. So, you've come a long way with the Lord, and I have so much respect for you. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to stand on your pulpit today. And I want to also thank Utabs. Utabs now, you've come a long way. Utabs ne passion get development. I'm also a community builder and the personal development. I know at some point we attended, I think the first life coaching course Tabs, organized about Daniels, we attended together. So we've come a long way, and I've also been watching you grow over the years and serving faithfully in the house of the Lord and just loving what you do. Your girls' ministry, you just have so much passion in what you do, and I love that. And you do it with so much excellence. Like there's so much excellence here today. Can we clap hands for that? That is also one of the things I firmly believe in Lavoti. Either uyenze sisokaniye. Sokwenza into ngathi wenza nje, you know. So I love your excellence, and I think you're just one of God's most favorite daughters. Even as favorites, I don't know. And I think that's why I think Nomi and he is still enjoying not having competition over. God is just enjoying you and what you do so much. So we celebrate you Tabs, and you're doing a great job with the kids so much. I think in ministry abantwana iyathanda ungathathwa serious nasezinkonzweni. Mina I think ndiyaqala ubona into enjena okokonke abakhona. And I want to say it's beautiful, and I hope other churches can learn from this, because these things, they start small. If we start small like this, teach our children how to dress up, go on a formal lunch or dinner, you know, taught how to eat and so on. They will not be easily impressed by vulgar cultures that want to take them to KFC. I mean, I've been to a 3-course meal at my church. What is this, you know? So I think let's do more and more of izinto ezinjena bethuna singabazali. It doesn't even cost us too much sometimes, but make the effort, take your child out. I know ipokoto zethu azilingani. Do according to your means, but make an effort. Ibambile la effort. Make an effort. Umntana wakho abe cute, nibe bahle, umthande be cute. He's cool. So that was so wonderful. Well done, Lizwi. That was, I enjoyed your talk so much. I think you have a gift of public speaking as well, like your parents. But you are also a preacher as well. So I'm sure your parents will develop that public speaking and the motivational speaking. You are all those things. It's so amazing. I enjoyed your talk. Thank you so much. Well done, Doctor. And as I start to give it to, I want to say that there is one thing we must always remember. I don't know if you can see my slides on the wall.
Yes.
You can see, okay. There's one thing I always say, that as a parent, you are irreplaceable. As a parent, you are irreplaceable. By that I mean there are many different roles that we play in our lives.
Yeah.
We go to work, whether you are a CEO or you are a cleaner, but you go to work. We come to church, we have different roles. You are a pastor, you are an elder, you are leading this and that and that. You go wherever in the world, but there are always roles. You are a wife, you are a husband. Those are the different roles that you play. But in all of those roles, you are completely replaceable.
Hey.
Like you can be replaced tomorrow. If you happen to die at work, I don't care how good you are and how you put all your hours, if you die today, tomorrow they will put someone to act in your position. By the time your position is advertised. And then someone is employed. And back to but they're not even gonna think about you again. You are replaceable completely. In all the roles in your life, you are replaceable. In fact, even as a wife or husband, you are replaceable. Amen. But it's the truth. The person you are married to can decide tomorrow they don't want to be with you anymore. But there's one role where it's not possible for you to be replaceable. It's your role as a parent. You are the only mother or the only father of this child. There's no other. Nobody stepmother. You are the one. Therefore, that means of all the things we do, that is the one thing I don't want to fail in this one. You can even fail as a pastor for that matter, but do not fail as a father or a mother to your children. Because whilst as pastors, I'm also a pastor's wife, whilst as pastors we mother and father many people whom we love to mother and father, because that's what we are called for. And we pour out our love, and we enjoy doing so. But while we do that, our children, we are the only mother and father they have. They don't have another pastor that, no, it's us. We are their parents, we are their. So, in whatever that we do, make sure that you don't fail in the one most important role of your
are only stewards for children. Like any good steward or bad steward, I believe you are going to stand in front of the Lord and you are going to be asked, how have you uyenze njani le ndima of being a steward? Ubaphethe njani abantwana bakho ukuze uThixo kuwe? These 2 or 1 or 3 or 5 that I gave you, how have you been as a steward to them? So this is what mainly I want to talk about today. So I'm saying the greatest call of your life is parenting. Amen. And as a parent, you are irreplaceable. That is my family. That picture is from 3 years ago, just before COVID. I like it because this is land up higher. And then COVID happened, and then after COVID, we were not the same. We were not the same physically, we were not the same spiritually, we were not the same emotionally, we were not the same financially. I mean, we lost people, a lot happened. So this is our picture, this is my family. So the reason I have it there, I just want to say, children are different. That's one thing we must always remember. So when I had my daughter, I got married at 21, so I was still very young. I didn't even know what I was doing. Got married at 21, and then at 22, had my firstborn, my daughter. She was the sweetest baby. She slept throughout the night. She didn't like conflict. And I thought all babies are like this. Don't you make that mistake. If the firstborn was so quiet, you think all babies are like this. And then the secondborn came 2 years later after that. And he was crying all the time. And I thought, man, can we... different. And then, by the way, the first 2, we were not even thinking about having them. They happened. Again, it happened. But it's all good because we grew up together. And then, years later, we wanted a third baby. And then it was not, the one we planned was not coming until 5 years later from the time we decided we wanted. Utiko has his own timing and his own reasons for everything. And when he came, he was totally different to the other 2. He talks, Una 6 is only 6, but he's totally different. He's assertive, he asserts himself, he's bold. So essentially, that's one thing we need to understand, that children are different, they are not the same. So sometimes we make the mistake of wanting to make the other child be like the other child or compare the other child with the other child. Which is very dangerous, and it breaks children, even in their giftings. If omnye good maths, omnye akazuba good maths, but uzawuba good kwi-art, music, or history, or whatever. So what is important, you look at what is your child good at and try and enhance what they are naturally gifted in. Instead of wasting time and stressing over what they are not good in. Look, it's a fact, because I think all parents have this thing, we all want our children to be doctors. I don't know why, but and then if you need maths and physics. Some of us, we had aspirations as it to get Sasnamapupa. Ngenxa yemeko asafikeleleka kumaphupha athile. Ngoku sifuna uthatha amaphupho wethu sizowafaka apha ebantwaneni wethu by fire by force. Uzawuyenza le mezi uthanda ungathanda because I want you to be a doctor. That was my dream. It's not their dream. Umvile uthathe bakuze ufuna uba yintoni? Omnye uthi ndifuna nje uba cute ndibe princess. That's it. It's not for you to bring that down, put you, I'm a police and a pay, no, that's it. So our role is want to be. So we waste a lot of time stressing. Omnye umzali udabeka izilippers up, ubetha umntana for uba makade yazi formula ye-maths. Akayazi, it's difficult. He's not wired mathematically. Find the things that they are gifted in and help them in that. Amen. Number 2, academics. Another mistake we do because we are raised to be such critical people. When you open a report at the end of term, the first thing umzali does, quickly scan. When's 7, no 6, no 5, no 4. Tina ngosasafunda le gang ina 4 tunyuka. Yayibo number 1 no number 2. Yayazi into ka number 1 no number 2. Mna ndandla ngophuma number 1 ne. Sikhule sihlupheka ekhaya kakhulu. So xa uphume number 1 ndizawuxhelelwa inkukhu and la nkukhu ibizwe ngegama lam. And it was a big thing because we could not afford to buy meat. So now you have a chicken called by your name. But the chicken, because you can't afford it, at least uzawuphakela umlenze, you know. As a result of umlenze, namhlanje ndiwuhlonipha kakhulu enkukhwini. Because it was a very prestige piece of the chicken. Ungazi ukuphakela umkhwepha nasendlini la ndiyakhathazela umlenze, because umlenze uyayinto ebalulekileyo. Umlenze ndandutya once a year ngoDisemba xa ndipasile after the whole year. But what I'm coming to with this is that the year apho khona ndingabanga number 1 ndibe number 2. Then my grandmother would say, "Kutheni ungekho number 1 kule year?" And then ingaxhelwa la kumfundisi. And I learned, that made me learn from a young age that in life you have to be perfect. There is no room for second best, which is a very bad thing because as you grow up, it affects your life in many different ways. You beat yourself up because you have to be number 1. So the mistake we do now as parents is that you open the report, ukhona 7, ukhona 6, ukhona no 5, mhlawumbe 7 babini bathathu. But the first thing ofuna uyithetha ufuna ubuza uba utheni ungu-3 kulena. You want to run to the one that they did not do so good in, without even starting to compliment the one that they did best in. So you need to learn now. You are breaking your child because they did their best within their means. So there's an approach to opening reports. You start by acknowledging the good. Wow, you did so well. You did so well. Wow. Then lastly, I see here that you struggled a bit. Do you want to talk about what happened? I'm between you. And then how can I support you to improve? I Julisi report phezulu. Ilapha moya emthwe andizijonga noyijonga lonto yakutshone notshona. No. Setshonile, you need to listen because this is what breaks. Our children are suffering a lot from suicide and emotional psychosocial issues these days. They can't cope. So we need to learn how to make life bearable for them because they live under very difficult circumstances. Amen. All right. Stay with me. So we can go to the next slide. So I'll just put I don't know if this is the next slide, but the next slide I had, this is not the second one. I'm saying there are different families. Sometimes when we are in church, we think that the only family is a married husband, wife, children. That is not true. In fact, that's only like maybe 5 to 10% of the population of church. Because church is an extension of society. Even in society, there are fewer people married than people not married. So the same in the church. When we talk families, we are talking people, whether you are a single mother, whether you are a single father, because there are also single fathers, whether you are widowed, whether you are divorced, reality.
Sure.
And then this talks to all of us. You are the best parent that your child could ever have. If you are a mother alone with your kids, yes, your job is going to be difficult because you must work double hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you clap for all the single mothers in the house? You work double hard. I was also raised by a single mother. Because it's not helpful in any way. We feel for you. We see you, we feel for you. And we are praying for you. That so I'm talking to all the different types of families that we have in the church. The next one. And then when we talk children, we must always understand that, move from a point of saying, this is a gift.
Sure.
I think saying, can move to the next slide. This is a gift. I don't care Noma ibize kanjani, bekuplano bekungaplanwanga, bekutshatwa bekungachatwanga. For example, my mother had me as a scholar in high school, standard 9. Now, Mamfundis. So, there is no way she wanted me. It's not possible. They were even poor as anything. Now she's pregnant. She found herself in a situation. So, you know, I color every day. But because children are a gift, I'm standing here today and I'm sharing with you. Had she decided maybe to get rid of me, I would not be standing here today. And even if she did, I would not have judged her, because people do the best they can within the limited resources that they have. We can't judge. Life happens. Life is hard. And now, children are a gift from God. It is Bible, Psalm 127. Children are a gift from the Lord, and they are a reward from Him. Next slide. They are a reward from Him. That is the attitude we should always have. Whenever you look at your child, you think, hey, this is a gift.
Yeah.
You know how you cherish a gift, an expensive gift. There's no more ultimate gift than the gift of life.
Sure.
You cherish a gift. That is how we should be handling them. They are not a nuisance. You can not have values called on Facebook. You ask it, was it Vulani, Keba, and the school and come back here. Okay. Get COVID. More than anything. They are your gift. At what stage you come we are a gift? You gift I give was in 20 man, Manubuka. Manubuka, you we are Ntando didn't pay a gift. They are a gift, always appreciate them. Now, it's jumpy, like because I'm not controlling it myself. But what you see on stage on the screen now is the different stages of development of children. I need us to understand. So as trainings get are like the whole day. So I'm trying to squash everything in like less than an hour. But this is important because this is the developmental stages of children. The reason you need to understand this is that it affects your relationship with your child depending on what stage the child is. As children grow, they don't stay midgets. I don't know why. Umntana uzabana 5, uzabana 10 ngenye imini, uzabana 15 ngenye imini, abe na 20 ngenye imini. Kwabazala dathi ungaseni mfaka eglasini angakhuli. Hayi uzawukhula. Uzawukhula kweli lizwe siphila kulo. You can't shield them. You can't hide them. They are going to be out there. Because now when you are out there, and you made it, you are here. So Children go through these stages. The first 6 years of a child's life, if you call our age group, this is what is called, there's a lot of intellectual development that is happening, brain development, and this is called the mother impact phase, because this is from the time you are pregnant, you start talking to your baby, you start like, by the way, children can hear even inside, ne? They are spirit beings. So you communicate and talk to them, and if you are stressed, they feel your stress. If you are happy, they feel. And by the time they absorb a lot of your emotions. So the first stage is the mother impact phase, because that's the phase you are nurturing as a mother. We are nancisa, uyafungula, ujonge emehlweni, uyancumela. Banowari ke mamfundisi ngoku kho lento ezifowuni ngoku zimosha amakhaya. Uthi umntana esazalwa esibhedlele, the first thing usefotiwe ne? The next thing Facebook. Okay, fine, I called you wrong, right. Sincome, oh beautiful. The challenge no iphi. Umama ngofika kalandele eza comments, amane yothi thank you. Leli xesha famba uspenda nomntana osanda ukuzala asayothi thank you for 200 comments. Now children are losing a lot of emotional bonding and attachment. Because we want to put it out there, and then there are comments, and then we must follow the comments, and then we must comment. And then we post further, and then we comment. So utuma mencancisa ngoku ubamba ifoni ngapha. Ubamba ifoni so ubeka umntana. Ufaka umntana umjonge emehlweni but wena ujonge ifoni ubeke umntana ebeleni. Wothuka ngexesha xa ngathi uyatsapha inoba tele mumle ujonge ifoni. So children are losing out on a lot of emotional attachment that they should be getting from a young age already. And it continues, ngiyayazi ke. Nifike endlini nivele balanda esikolweni, usefonini, uyapheka. Uqala yayikade imbiza, ungcokwana nabantwana bakho. Ngoku imbiza, no WhatsApp, no Facebook. So there's no time to be talking to anyone now. They are losing even more and more of emotional contactedness. Hence, they are so lonely. Hence, you hear these days of a 12-year-old has committed suicide. Even a 10-year-old. They are lonely in our homes. Because of what choice, like you are interacting. Now, so just go to a room, press your telephone in. Number 2, unkept Wi-Fi entry, which is necessary. But I'm just trying to say, between that and the time we should be spending, there's a lot that is being robbed. And then there's television, there's all the series, Netflix, Showmax, with the wife, there's so much content. Saturday, catch up. Remote. Children are lonely. And they are also lonely because we are in suburbs, most of us. Our man no melon next door. So there was a lot of engagement for social skills. So if you didn't know why children are so psychologically disturbed, they are lonely. Then moving on, I'm just giving you information. I'm hoping from this information you will begin to make a little bit of changes, maybe in your home. Even if it's just to say for an hour, can we put phones away, everybody? Can we just engage and talk? How are you? How was your day? How has your week been? Talk on the way. There's a lot of time to be talking. Sometimes when you ask them, how was your day? Fine. You know, you must probe. What is fine? What happened? What was good about it? What was bad about it? Don't you know them, know their friends. I don't care whatever, whether balaba, know everything about your children. So this is the mother impact phase. And abantu that are emotionally detached as adults, in the first 6 years. Either because mama wakhe wayengakwazi umthanda because wayegowisha or umama wakhe wayomshiya somewhere else umhlambi kwafika esikolweni or kwafika upha. There are many reasons. Hence I'm saying we never judge what happened, but the point is that if the child missed up on that, they may have issues later on in life because that is where they learn nurturing from a mother that is present. Then the next stage is the from 7 years up to 11 years. This is the father impact phase. This is where they develop basic competencies. They do little activities, they learn, they kick ball, even as a scholar when they are starting to be engaged in sport. It's the father impact phase. Now you will ask if there's no father, which is more than close to 70% of homes in South Africa, there are no fathers. We are in a fatherless nation. So then you ask yourself, then what happens if there are roles that God created to be done by fathers and the fathers are not there? Then we wonder why that is happening. That is where the root of the issues is. If you go to prisons, most of the people there will tell you there was never a father. There's no way we can end up in prison with a father. Yeah, like that. Amen. We are one of the confident. Well, the father is there. Now, if the father is not there, you are a single mom. Find, identify another positive role model. Someone that expose your child to those opportunities to engage with father figures, because there's a role that they are playing. If you've got your brother, talk to them, ask them intentionally to be more present in your child, especially if it's a boy child, to be more present in your child's life because it's needed. Then the next phase, the 12 to 15 up to 16, 17, 18, those are the teenage years. Teenagers they still love you. It's just that it's a phase. It's a peer impact phase. To them now, it's more important what the friends are saying than what we are saying. The opinion of friends is more important than your opinion. We've all been through that stage. If they don't think the friends are going to find it beautiful, it's not beautiful. That's the stage. You must stop buying clothes for them in their absence. Because I've got in. In fact, you're going to get a rude awakening because your man who's 10, who's born as they want to be there and buy their own clothes. But yours is just to be there and make sure by the right time I go 1 centimeter. Exactly. At least. But go ahead, 1 centimeter. Guidance. But what is important in this stage is what friends think more than what you think. And sweet personal, we have time, all of them you are not the most important at the moment. But something as if they just have stage and then again you become the most important. Oh, sure. At least that's the good news. So after they pass as a stage, then you can see 19, 20 to 21. That's the stage of developing identity. Again, the father impact comes back. Only you want more, engage more with that because they are trying to get who am I, and then they are identifying themselves with the closest father figure in their life. So they are finding their identity. So the family becomes more important again. Sure. And then moving forward, 22 to 25 is the training stage. They are starting to work. Maybe they've just finished college. Again, the family. So the family is just this one phase of a PA. Otherwise, the rest of their life, the family is still very, very important. So don't worry about the stage that is temporary. This is our ruler. Then, now I want to touch, you can move to the next slide. I want to briefly touch about the types of parenting styles. Now, as I'm talking, I want you to listen with an open heart and a teachable spirit. Uba wena, what type of parenting style are you? Okay? We serve a perfect God, but we are not perfect people. And all you do what you know, the way you know it. Or you parent the way you were parented, exactly the way you were parented. I do a lot of these workshops and I see that a lot, especially women, it's usually women I engage with. My husband deals with men, he has an organization, Men on a Mission. They deal with fatherhood issues, marriage and all that. I usually engage with ladies. Uva pha athi umntu, hayi kaloku ngo-5, makuvuke wonke umntu kuvula ifestile. And then you ask, okay, Saturday ngo-5, Saturday, wonke umntu ngo-5, vula ifestile kujena umoya endlini. Okay, why? Hayi kaloku like balala ntoni? Nomama wayevula ngo-5 ifestile. Hey, and then you're like, okay, akho-reason xa umama wayenza ngolaa hlobo ngelaa xesha. And then you have to talk to them, okay, do you understand that these children get tired? Have you seen the schedule of our children during the week at school? It's academics, it's sports, it's rugby, it's hockey. They get so tired. It's homework, it's they want to sleep. And then when I want to open windows at 5, everybody must get up. Get up. Okay, get up and do what? Hayi noba nawuphinda nilale, khabe nivuka vukani. Hey. So we need to understand that some of the things we do, they are not necessary. They are just things that are handed from generation to generation. Some of them are very good. Let's take the good ones. But some of them do not serve us in our time and our generation. Discard those ones. We don't have to hold on just because I said to hold on. Say that. Then there are 4 types of parenting styles mainly. There's the permissive parent. Permissive in summary is the one kuthiwa nguvula zibhuqe. Lower Hashem. And they don't mean bad. They're just fearful to say no to their children. For whatever reason. For whatever reason, that is in their subconscious why they are not able to bring structure and discipline. So they just let children. So these children are self-regulating. If they want to sleep at 12, they sleep at 12. If they don't want to eat, they don't. About structure, they just let them be. These are permissive parents. They love their children, these mothers. I'll take you through the next slide more. Okay, so, but at the bottom, they are fearful parents because they don't want to be on the wrong side with their children. Then number 2 is the neglectful parent. This one just doesn't care, forsakes children. It's as good as they are not even there. This one. Forsakes their children. I'm hoping that is not my battery dying. Tabs, I will need the charger. There's the charging point here. I'm so sorry. Maybe let me just try. I'm going to see if I can try and come to la phone. But once we are charging, Bazalbam, we are faced with serious challenges today. We are faced with serious challenges. As Belchuap, I work for the UN, and compared to the rates of HIV and all, which are also very high. The age group of 15 to 24 is the highest in terms of HIV infection in the country. So we are dealing with serious, real issues that sometimes I feel but those are real issues. Rates of suicide have increased. This is both inside and outside of the church. We know it happens. So those are the realities that we are dealing with. We need to try and be intentional and reach out to our children and be there and know what is happening. We cannot afford to be parents that do not know. Because even if you say youth, but it will be your sister's child or a neighbor or something. The third type of parenting is authoritarian. These are the Hitler-style parenting that just want to enforce rules. They are fighting all the time. But the last one, the authoritative, is the one that we should all aspire to be. These are called fellowshipping parents. So can you go to the next slide, which talks, so briefly I want to talk about the uninvolved neglectful parent. The neglectful parent, which I'm sure are snares apparently, but maybe some of us grew up neglected by our parents. So as I'm talking to you as a parent, you are also thinking about you as a child and you growing up in your environment that you grew up in. Some of us have wounds that we need to heal from our past that we are still carrying today. The neglectful parents, they are undemanding, they don't care, they don't set goals for their kids. They are just indifferent. They are very emotionally detached from their children. They do the very minimum expected of them. They fail to set long-term guidelines and goals. And then the impact on children, obviously later in life they're going to be disturbed in relationships, they're going to be impulsive. It's the ones that will want to steal or rob and go end up in jail, all this impulsive behavior. They can even be antisocial and they are less achievement oriented because if umzali is not expecting anything, why should I push to achieve anything? Because they are it's very painful. And that is the brain. You see that is a picture of a brain scan. This is what neglect actually affects the brain physically. It makes it shrink. So if children from a young age, they are severely neglected, the brain actually shrinks and they don't perform according to their, next I'm trying to move quick, to their capacity. The next parents is the one I was saying is the permissive parents. They are very high on love, but they are very low on discipline. So there's no discipline with this one. They create a climate in which children regulate their own behavior. There's very little control over children. Children do as they please. They are fearful to say no. Why again? Okay, ndiyafuna ukukhomenta kancane kule nto kahayi. Uhayi uright, but uhayi must not also be used in extremes. Thina abantu abamnyama particularly, I think simsebenza kakhulu uhayi. Starting from a young age, uthi umntana eqala ukhasi. Athi bamba apho kuthiwe hayi, abamba ikhabhathi hayi. Akhupha izitya khanoba azophuka izazikantakawe, azikhupha azibheka apha. Hayi suka, hlika uzawuwa, yeka uzawutsha. Sinqandwa okokoko thina all our lives. As a result, when we are adults, we are so fearful to take initiative because you think of a business idea, the first thing iti hayi. What if you fail? Uzayenza njani? Don't even try because kugcwele uhayi kuthi. Versus white people, watch white people at the park sometime. Baye abantwana babo bokuya abahlale eDukhweni bekhoyi Yolanda Pine Creek indawo edlala pha. Bukala umlungu pha egada umntana akhe edlala. Uhlala pha esitulweni. Umntana akhwela khona. Okanye uzawuma apha. Anyuka. Uready nje umganga if uwile. Otherwise akamnqandi uba do not climb, do not touch, do not don't. I like to say if ayizukophuka yeke umntana uya-explora. If umntana uvula ikhabhathi zakho akho zitya zophukayo zii-plastics zikatapaware okanye uphathaware, sometimes uphathaware angewotapaware uyanqanda okoko. Maybe that child is going to own a chain store, maybe it's almost spanning, you mean he's just learning the skill of packing it and you don't know. Ways unnecessary, when it's necessary. Because children learn by doing things, they explore the world around them. So please, later on, because and all that. Maybe you raise a woman that's going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but no one so high is important, but let's not overuse it. And also we use high a lot, but we don't use a lot. We don't compliment a lot.
Yeah.
Children need to be complimented. If umntana uhlambe izitya, ikitchen clean, akho nto rongo umzali ukuthi, you thank you so much, baby wam, ngohlamba izitya, ikitchen lam lihle Then ke ngoku xa engayenzanga elaa kitchen imdaka, kuviwa ngawe ushawuthi usangena phaa emnyango. Ikitchen lapha xa ku-right kuthe cwaka. So masifundeni uba for every no, there's also a yes and a well done and a good and a compliment. They go together. So the impact on the permissive parents, they are also very impulsive, they are aggressive, they lack self-control. Because our cause boundaries, abantu abasendlini bathi mafamba bayathatha yonke into nasekrish, thatha itoy noba yoyakhe akakhathali. Akhule naye nasemsebenzini. Sixakana nabantu emsebenzini abacinga phamba they can do whatever they want to do. Because there were never boundaries from a young age. Ngoku bengathi ngumntu ombi wena xa uyimanager yakhe ukuthele ngqabo ukuthenga ungofuna umnqanda because akazange wanqandwa esemncinci. It creates problems. And then the next slide, authoritarian parents. Hey, most of us we grew up in this environment of the Hitler style of parenting. It's my way or the highway. Do as I say or get out of my house type thing. Let me tell you, it does not work for 2022. It does not work. Get out of my house. Actually, get out nyani. Then it does not work. So these parents, they place very high premium on conformity and obedience. They reject their children if they don't comply with their wishes. Uzawufunda ilaw. Akayithandwa but uthi utata because apha ekhaya singamagqwetha nawe ambokwenza ilaw then uzazophangela kule law firm. I don't like law. Hey, I'm telling you, if you don't do it, I'm not going to pay for your studies. Some of us are from those environments, but we wrong careers because abazali insisted ba yenza leso yenza leya. Little communication between parent and child. Tell me something, xa ndine 10 minutes. If you go so that it becomes they reject if they don't comply with their wishes. There's very little communication between parent and child. The child here is like they don't even exist. The parent is not interested to hear what is the view of the child. Yeah. What is important is your view, is your decision. It's like not even if you get a position 80, we are Gauteng, you're chief director. You need to have a meeting with your children. Because your decision is going to affect their lives. I'm just saying, at the very least, consult with them. Because now they must get new school, new friends. They must go to a language they don't even understand. It's going to turn their life upside down. So you can't just make your own decision and then let's pack up and go. You need to be consulting with your children and engage with them. Now, there's little communication with parenting. They expect their children to obey always in all circumstances, unconditionally. It's my way or the highway. Do you know what children cry for most when I engage? I'm sure Notabisa engages with young people a lot. They say communication. Our parents don't talk to us. Our parents talk over us. They don't talk to us. That is their cry. Number 2, our parents don't listen to us. Our voice does not matter. And then you wonder why they are swayed with friends. Because the friends, they are mamelas. When you're not even interested. Children want to be listened to, they want to be heard. Nobody else got at the very least mamela futhi I understand your point about Sugati. Then this is my view. And you see how you find each other. I don't negotiate with children. As long as you are under my roof, you are going to. Hey, it doesn't work anymore as a if not, they are severely punished. These parents, they punish their children. They are very controlling parents, very strict. And these parents that are like this, they turn their children into liars. If your child is a liar, it's your fault. Because they've learned that the environment is not conducive for them to tell you the truth. Because you don't create an environment where you want your children to tell you the truth. You know that by law, a 12-year-old is allowed to commit abortion without parents knowing. By law, they can go on their own. Picture this. Do you really want your 12-year-old? He's so scared, he's so confused to go to a hospital to do abortion because they are so scared to tell you they are pregnant. And then they live with those emotional scars for the rest of their lives. Because in fact, now we are instead of sitting down with them, educate them about sex and sexuality and what happens, no, you don't know how to communicate them, but you use threats, you threaten them. Threats are not educational in any way. They are just threats. Let's talk to our children. Now, I remember when I had my first menses as a young girl. My mother was a professional nurse. My mother was a professional, but she had never educated me about anything. When I had my periods, I went to her. This is what's happening. What are you? Hey, come in, you can't do it. Oh, houses gaming, and nobody's game, nobody's Olympics, nobody what kind of games are they talking about. And that was the only education I got besides gaming. I don't even know what that means. And that game, Mama, what I was like, the shock, what you want to know? How born done oil ballet. That confused West because the food that I made class in that was the end of it, nothing else. So please pay attention. There's even Google now. If you don't know how to approach a topic, Google how to talk to my child about sex. It's important. Because prevention is better than cure, and it's better they hear things from us than from their friends. And then, so the impact on children, excessively controlling. The negative impact on children is that they will have low self-esteem. A lot of us are going around today with low self-esteem because we're parents that are very excessively controlling. Number two, asna confidence. We are less skilled in relationships because we want to enforce. And then now when there's a pushback, because you're not going to enforce things to your husband, you're not going to enforce things to your wife. This is an adult. Even once you can't even enforce to your teenage child. It's not a top-down approach. Then dependent conflict in relationships. Then people are usually reserved. They are more inclined to antisocial behavior. They may even do less at school. Then the next slide quickly. So usually how we love our children as parents, and I want to talk about this because what children need most is to be loved. How we love them, it's not how God loves us. God loves us unconditionally. God loves us in spite and despite and no matter what. God has already pre-decided, but we are kuthanda. But our love to our children is conditional. We want to say, my love for you has expectations. I only love you if you please me in this way and this way and this way. And if they falter, then I don't even want to talk to you. Iphela iveke awuteki nomntana wakho na 13 aniteki aphethe umqumbe. Because kaloku wawudla ngoqunjelwa nawe ngumama wakho, you think that is the way how things are solved. And it's not helping. Uthi usamqumbele aske umntana wakho azibulale. Ulile ngokungathuthuzeleki because kaloku uyayazi uba beningavani ngoku asiyazi thina. So you will need And from that performance, because they know we expect such high performance, when they don't meet up, they get disappointed. Then it leads to guilt and shame. And it's a cycle that is not healthy. And at the very root of it is fear. Then the last parent that I want us to talk about, Tabs, and if my time is finished, I will leave the other slides and stop it. Going at your MC Balam camp is an education. So the last slide maybe that I will talk to, I'll leave the others maybe for another day. The authoritative parent is the parent that we want to strive to be. This parent is high on love, but is also high on discipline. So love and discipline must go together. And we must discipline in love. And there's a difference between discipline and punishment.
Sure.
See, Ivan?
Yeah.
There's a difference between discipline and punishment. Now, I want to make this example. We know how stressful it is when our kids, they lose things at school. It's expensive for Jersey. They lose them. Now, growing up, my son will forget this. And then if we are the hoovering parent, there's also the hoovering type of a parent, the one that is always ready to solve problems all the time. It doesn't help your children because they never learn problem solving skills. You are hoovering. If they forget something, Mama, please bring me my sport bag. So we are driving our sport bag. I did that for some time until I learned, no. These kids, they keep forgetting, they keep being disorganized and not plan the night before what they need to do tomorrow, and then they must run around. And then I set them down, I said, no, I'm not going to bring anything to school now. If we libel, you are going to suffer the consequences of whether it's detention, whether it's going and getting down. And I did that. And that day, they stopped forgetting things at home. They will plan because they don't want them. So we are teaching them a skill about life. The second thing is that they like to lose. You know how expensive shoes are? They lose shoes. Before I used to go and buy and replace them until I learned to know they will never learn not to lose items. Then I introduced a system. I think so it works for me as a discipline. It worked wonders. Because on Fridays they will get 50 rand for tax shop. And then and you must tell them before the consequences. If it means you are not going to have tax shop money for the next 5 weeks. Because the shoes cost 250 rand and I must buy your shoes. So I'll tell you my tax shopping. So when the parties come to for the next 5 weeks. And when it happens, he loses the shoes. Then it's time for implementation. I implemented all the sleep. I was with my shop for the next 5 Fridays. Any man until I'm out of pay. And I promise you from then on, my son never lost anything ever again from school. So we need to devise means to understand that. Okay, so that is my form of discipline example. But the punishment, you know your child loves sport so much. That is too much. So the offense, at least is must be extraordinary. Because now I was 7 years mistakes, by the way. Here we put in a presentation, I say, we are no longer working here. You will not like it. So let's understand. Then, encourage children to contribute to family discussions. As I said, engage your children in your talks. Have talks. If you are having dinner, try and sit together, talk to your children. Talk, be free to talk about issues on the table. How has your week been? How was your day? And so on. These parents are warm, are sensitive, they are patient. You are loving, you are kind to your children. These parents would never shame their children or embarrass them in front of other children. That's another thing. Children don't want to be embarrassed or shamed. Do not shout them in front of other children. balinda baye bahambe uthele nomntana wakho privately because you are embarrassing them and nobody likes to be embarrassed. And then they follow a democratic approach in which the rights of both parents and children are recognized and respected. And the outcome of these children is that they have a very high self-esteem, they are better able to internalize moral standards, they perform better academically, they are more independent because you have used to making them take the small decisions and interact and think and make things. We are telling them what to do. So they become very independent. They are confident and ready to try new things. And these are very well-balanced children. So that is the type of parenting that we want to aspire to. And I want to end by reading this. I will stop here with my slides. I want to end by reading this. 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about love. Children want to be loved. It says love is patient. I want to ask you, are you patient with your child? First of all, because you can't give your child what you don't have. Number one, are you patient with yourself? If love is patient, do you love yourself? Are you patient with yourself? Then are you patient with your child? If you're a spouse, further, are you patient with your spouse? Some of us are very good at you patient, love is patient. Are you patient? Love is kind. Are you kind to yourself as a person, girl? Or can you always put you last? Are you kind to yourself? Are you kind to your children? Are you kind to those around you? Love does not envy. Love does not boast. Love is not proud. It does not dishonor others. Hence I'm saying, never dishonor your children, especially in front of their friends. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. How many of us are easily angered, yet we read our Bibles? Be slow to anger. Try and understand it. Because once you jump it keeps no record of wrong. It does not delight in evil. It rejoices with the truth. Love always protects. It always trusts. That is another important thing. Our children need to feel that we trust them. Don't operate from a point of fear and not trusting your children. If what in your Bugatti movies, their friends, that's exactly what it is. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Just have a mechanism. Okay, I'm going to drop you here. What time must I pick you up? I'm going to be here to pick you up at whatever time. Allow children a little bit of space to do activities with their friends. Trust them. It always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails. And in ending, I want to say there are books here today which I've got, which most of this and more is coming from. So the best gift you can give yourself is to equip yourself with knowledge, because parenting it's not an easy thing, it's a difficult thing. We need to learn, just like we learn Mkhencele how to do strategic plans and all these things we do. So you need to equip yourself, be a person that reads, be interested in buying books on parenting. So I've got today Map for Parenting. It's more like a tool, it's a coaching tool, also like a book with everything that I've already shared on, which you can buy. I usually sell them for $350, but today I said 2 times it's 300, and then I will donate 50 rand back to her ministry. So if you are interested, you can talk to her, get the book, read, highlight, equip yourself, because there's so little time. There was still so much I wanted to say, but there's not enough time to say it. So with those words, I want to say, you are the best parent that you can be, and your child, you are the only parent to your child. So you owe it to yourself and to your child to be the best that you can be for them, because abanayo uzali ngaphandle kwakho. Thank you so much.